The organization's tagline is sustainability is the bottom line. How did that come about, and how collectively can we usher in a clean economy?
Ceres has been at this for quite some time, and one of the catalysts was the oil catastrophe with the Exxon Valdez, and the environmental degradation that resulted from that was a key inspiration for the formation of Ceres. And for the past few decades, we've been really focused on working very closely with investors and companies in particular on sustainability. And more recently, with a big focus on climate, investors are very keen and focused on minimizing the risk of their portfolios and exposure to the physical risks of climate. And we also work very closely with companies that are also looking to reduce those risks, but also to take advantage of the economic opportunities. I mean, there's trillions of dollars of potential opportunity when you look at electric vehicles, renewables, energy efficiency. So many of the companies that we're working with, Fortune 500 companies, are looking to take advantage of that, both in North America and beyond.
When you're looking at the issue that comes up a lot now is water and water shortages, and then the rising oceans. Are you looking at, if you want to say from a climate perspective or a risk perspective, because a rising ocean and you have a lack of water, there's risks all around. Are you looking at all of those minute risks as well as the larger risks that are emerging?
That's exactly right. We have an entire water program at Ceres that's focused on working with both investors and companies that are looking to address those very real risks for companies in a variety of different sectors. Ag, for example, the tech sector, the explosion in data centers, for example, has highlighted the key risks that many of these companies and investors are facing as they're looking to make these very significant and actually historic investments in data centers that use significant amounts of water, especially for cooling.
Are we seeing, let's say, you want to call it an emerging trend or outliers that are starting to put microgrids at these data centers? Okay, so we're going to put some renewable solar. We're going to put some wind. We're going to put a little microgrid. Are you starting to see any of those experimentations? Because the ones that you read about in the FT or the journal are, we have to go connect to the utility, and it's going to take X amount of years until we get hooked up. Oh, and then, oh, by the way, there's a shortage, so we don't know how fast these jobs are going to be created.
Yeah, no, it's we are seeing an increased interest from the tech companies in having more control over their supply of electricity. And many of those tech companies, Google, Microsoft, Amazon, they all have very ambitious climate goals. Net zero by 2050, 100% renewables, matching the renewables for the exact times when those data centers are actually operational. So they have really been pushing the utilities to invest more in both the generation, renewable generation. So there's more firm, clean energy providing the data centers with power, and also the wires, the transmission, the distribution systems that can bring that generation to the grid. Their demand is so significant that it really does entail a systemic approach. Behind the meter and on site is still of great interest, and there are some projects that have, behind the meter solar or wind or solar and battery storage. But given how much demand there is, it's really a systemic approach that's going to really meet their needs in the long term.